and so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry
Right.
about that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
Hey, well, it's
automatic.
8. Yeah, it is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, all right. I'm
So
pausing myself.
why
Have a
don't
good
we
show.
get started? Well, hey, Dave, thank you. Thanks for talking. It's nice talking to you again, as usual. In fact, Dave, part of what we're going to look good tonight, Dave, you and I, because, well, anyhow, we'll see in a minute. And with that, we'll say good evening. This is the Sunday night webinar, March the 3rd already. Wow. Where is the time going? And anyhow, we're glad you're here. I'm Gene Clabago.
And I think I'm Roger Carroll.
and we're hoping Roger will be with us.
Anything.
Yeah, with us, the whole thing. Hey, there are a few people I notice who have not maximized their screen, and if you could do that, that would be very nice. A couple of people, and it's not a big thing, but we like, it helps on the report. Okay, it makes sure that you are attentive. So thank you very, very much. Hey, we're glad you're here. We've got a few things for you, and as I was saying, the first thing that I'd like to take a look at. Oh, let's see if I can get going here. Oh my goodness, I'll have all this stuff out of the way. Oh, I'd like to do a couple of reviews, if I may, because, well, a couple of weeks ago, we showed you this thing called News Map. And it's a map of the world. And we'll make it smaller so you can see it. And it has news from many of the countries. And I just wanted to show this because it's becoming more populated. There are more countries being added, the news from more and more countries. So it's called newsmap.com. And what we were showing you was nice about it. If you pick a country, let me get something out of the way here because I was messing with China today. And if you click on this, it will take you to a Chinese page, okay? Why is it not bringing the whole page in? That's weird. That's strange. Usually it gets the whole page. Let's reset it and see what happens. Let's just do this again. I'm going to go back and try this one more time, okay? Just to make sure that things are working. Because usually you get the whole, I wanted to show you the whole page, China. Where are we here? If you just click on it. Oh, I know why. Oh, no, I don't know why it's doing that. But anyhow, you can select a page. And there it is, Chinese. And generally, well, I would doubt that many of us could read this. But again, one of the nice things about...
Hold on. Okay, I got it.
Oh, you got it now? Well, the article that I
forgot to read right to left.
Oh, I was going to show you the one there is one article down here, at least there was, maybe it's changed, and I removed it, and I removed the translate, so now we can't read it. Okay, we're going to do this again. All right. Generally, you get this little translate this page, and again, what's nice about it is it will translate the page for you, okay? And it really is kind of interesting because if you wanted to use this in school, you could be using the news from all over the...
Who's feed? A question I have, because of something else I was onto this week. Who is feeding those news articles?
Well,
are they? Are they from China?
Yeah,
are they China resources?
Well, let's see. Let's go to Norway and see what comes in. It does come in as Norway, okay? And, again, if you click on that, it takes you to the site. And generally, now, notice this one did not show any translate. And so you're not stuck if you wanted that. You could copy this. Just copy the website. Go to the next. I go to Chrome. This is kind of weird. Open my thing here. There is a translate in here. I paste it in this box and click on this, and it translates the page that way. So interesting. Anyhow, I just wanted to, I know we had talked about that news map a while ago, but I just wanted to show you again that was kind of interesting, and it might be useful to certain classes. Okay. Again, I'm not sure what I want to do here. Hey, I saw an article. Let's see if I have it here. There it is. I'm not sure if I have it up, so let me do this. Hey, this is Dave and I several weeks ago. I don't think you were with us, Raj, and Dave helped me a great deal. Make photos speak in multiple languages. This is kind of a review for some of you, but for some of you it might be new. This is a tech and learning a website that I go to, and one of the Lisa Nielsen had a great idea that we've shown you a couple of weeks ago, and it was how to convert images to descriptive text. And the only thing that she used here was she was talking about having, let me close off a few things here, a picture. For example, if you have a picture, there we go. There is a picture I happened to find online in Spanish. And if you were to want to translate that very easily, it could be done very easily using that little tool that we talked about some time ago. It's called Office Lens. And I also used a nice tool that Roger showed me some time ago to create a little video. And here's very simply how you can do it. Let's see if we can get this video going. This is my phone. Oh, let me stop this for a second. Hold it. Stop. Okay. All right. The first thing is you'll see that I'm going to open my Office Lens. Now, instead of taking a picture, I'm going to my photos right here. And I'm going to select that picture. Okay. Now, it will bring it in. Okay. Notice it didn't bring the whole picture in. So if you didn't get the whole picture, you can go to crop, the crop thing at the top, and it will allow you to make the whole picture if you want. But I just wanted that text, so that was good. And as you can see, I'm playing with the crop right now just to try to get it down. Oh, I just left a little extra line there at the bottom I didn't want. So now I'm going to go back to the crop, move it up a little bit, take that line out. Now that's what I want. So now I hit the word done, and I'm going to send it to OneNote, okay? And I'm going to call it Spanish Poster 2. I already tried it with one. That was my test. So now it's going to go to my OneNote. I'm going to put it in my sandbox OneNote because that's where I play with things. And I'm going to hit save. It's going to put it there, and that's all there is to it. Now, that's how, I think we've gone over that before, but using that Office Lens is so incredibly easy and so incredibly good. Now, when let's go, where am I here? Who am I here? Okay. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. I apologize. I have, man, I must have closed it. Oh boy. Anyhow, there we go. Here's my Microsoft Office. To save some time, I went there. Notice, Raj, they've got new icons. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. They hinted that they were coming. I wasn't sure when you roll them out.
Yeah, they kind of look cool. I like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, here's my OneNote, and I'm going to go in there. It's taking a little longer than. Okay, and here's my sandbox. That's my sandbox OneNote, and you'll see that I'm hoping there it is, Spanish Poster 2, and there's the picture that I I took some time ago. You can go online, and I just captured it. But now, as Roger's been showing you for a long time, and it's been getting more and more developed. If you go to View and the Immersive Reader, changes that into text that can be read. Okay. It also can be translated here now. If you go up to the little book, Reading Preferences, and down here, Translate, choose a language. Well, let's choose. We even have a number of English languages we can choose. Look at all those. I think I'll take United States. And rather than by word, I want the whole text done. And there it is. It will translate that for you immediately.
What does it look like when you choose by word?
All right, this is by word. I will do that. Yeah, let me go back. I don't know if I can. There, by word. Now, what you can do is escuchar. If you click on it, it will tell you what the word means. I think that's what you're saying. Okay?
Yep.
Okay? And preguntas, questions. Separar. Okay? Okay? But yeah, that is so incredible, and this was just I just saw that and I thought, wow, maybe some of you had not seen that when we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but it is, again, a really nice thing that you can do. And if you don't have Microsoft, the Lens, you can go to the store with your device. I'm thinking, Raj, do you know if it's available for the Google?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah, I think
Android. There's an Android version of it.
Yeah, I think there is, and so
there is. Yes.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool, and it is an amazing thing. My daughter now and then sends me these forms and says, Dad, can you scan these? And I got to sit down and show her.
Teach her how to fish.
Yeah, teach her how. Yeah, but then she won't call anymore. Anyhow, but no, that's it's a great little tool. Great little tool.
I think it's time for, in a very broad sense here, is to start having these discussions among teachers. Like you mentioned, okay, the Android version of an app. How many teachers are using their own personal devices, with, in the classroom, in the game here, for resources in teaching? Dave, a couple of weeks ago, showed us how he was using Office Lens, bringing it up into his classroom in Teams, and pushing it out to students very quickly. I mean, within, and I think he said within minutes.
Yes.
Pushing stuff out. I mean, making that kind of discovery in a classroom really kind of instant. We can quickly, you got to be on your coaching. We're not teaching so much as we are coaching. So the game is on in your classroom, and we make these game time decisions, substituting one idea for another and so on. But we're using our own devices, a lot of us. Well, us, I mean, well, you and I for sure.
Yeah.
Dave and so on. And I just think it's worth a discussion to see where we're coming from. How flexible is our time in the classroom to be able to do this? Now, the district, let's see, I was at a week ago, there was the open house at Abbott for Parent Technology Night. Yeah. And actually it was, we've been doing these for the last 3 years. This was by far the most well-attended event, and I give all the credit in the world to the new principal over at Abbott and our new elementary level technology integrator, Ed Maynard, they made it almost like, well, it really kind of looked like a science fair up at the library at Harriet Babbitt last week. They had a whole bunch of STEM things and science things, science kits. Ed was doing this whole thing with green screen, and kids were showing off things that they're doing with that. But the technology is just taking off with this. And so this whole discussion and what we're doing, but to get back to where I was headed with that, was that I think maybe 3 or 4 schools are getting totally refit with new tablets, PCs and stuff. I know this coming Tuesday is a big day in the district, the trial run for some of the technology testing from the state level. And but say our capability is increasing tremendously with the latest greatest that some of these couple schools are really fortunate to get. I think that brings most of the district up to speed with that. Then of course, somebody is 2 or 3 years behind already with some of this stuff. But it's really, I mean, we got to mesh all of this stuff, like it's with hand, like what's the kids' accessibility with this and access, and teachers who are just kind of being held back in some of these really neat things that we can do. We're going to show you a couple things when if I'm still online and get over to it. But doing this stuff, and it's funny, you've got that on the screen right now. I want to show you when I get it, something I discovered this week. I discovered, actually, my wife brought it home, and I said, let me see that. But it blends greatly with what you're doing right here.
Well, then why don't I get the screen?
Well, let me go ahead. I just want to make sure what's going to pop up is,
okay. And if
let's see, it's in my OneNote. Yeah, there it is.
And in case we lose you, goodbye, Raj.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm hoping not. Okay.
I am hoping not as well.
Okay, there you go. You should have the screen.
Okay, what are we looking at, Gene?
La Princesa and the Pea.
Yes. Okay.
What is it? That looks like a little combination of languages there.
It's probably that's exactly what it is. I only did 2 of the pages, but I used my Office Lens.
Yeah.
To let cover in. My wife at where she's quotations around the word working. They had a book fair this week, and we're crazy about kids' books because we have a crazy number of grandchildren, so we're always buying books for them. And this is that a version of that well-known, The Princess and the Pea, but it's really clever. And I thought this might be some fun for a class, not necessarily a second language class or even an ESL class, but a class that's we're playing with language, we're playing with words. And I wish I'd have taken a snapshot of one page from the story, but this is the cover of the book, and this is the glossary that you're presented with. Let me zoom a little bit here. And the story is told really in English, and here and there the author has inserted a Spanish word.
Interesting.
And I had a couple of granddaughters over respite from their parents the other night, and we're reading this, and they got a huge kick out. One of them is in kindergarten, the other one's in 3rd grade, and they love some of the words. They're just fun to say. And what I didn't do, well, I did try it. It didn't work out very well. As I put that page into the immersive reader, and it didn't really, yeah, just because of the formatting of it. You notice here you
Yeah.
can still see, uh,
Yeah.
but what I didn't do is go far enough. I didn't come down to the language. I don't know what it's going to do if I say, Spanish. Probably.
What are the S's?
Oh, thank you. Whether it's Mexico or Spain, I don't know what we teach.
I believe we do
Uh,
teach the South American for the most part. I'm not
so
positive, but
Mexican.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. By word, and so I don't know what happened here. See,
Oh,
but that's the fun thing here.
yeah. Say,
And then we can play with all of that stuff as you've showed a couple
yeah,
times,
yeah.
here. Um, just playing with the language, and the book is hysterical. I mean, it's a basic story, and
Hmm.
but but some of the words let's see, okay, and it will pronounce it. But I wonder, if I go into it's got the picture dictionary is
Yeah.
on, but if I want to say I only want nouns, does it change it? It didn't really. It's thinking that these are all nouns. Let's uh, see what it's doing. Because it's a mix. I'm not sure what's
Yeah.
going on here.
Yeah.
But anyway, uh, really good fun. This is a great book. It's one of those typical scholastic paperbacks. Um, La Princesa and the Pea, which again, it's drawings are hysterical, but the story is really kind of cool with that. And I discovered this week, and I don't know, we're back into that discussion about who's getting the updates and when, and the different versions and so on. I had this laptop with me at a session this week, and one of our tech integrators from BOSI says, we're using the OneNote, the app here. Okay, I did that, but what I was not getting, and I'm not getting on my personal computer, is this option here, and this is what Dave would have on your school computer with your class notebook.
Oh,
I
okay.
can distribute sections and pages to students if I happen to have any, and create class note. Add and remove students. We have these options, and I think it's because of the installed version on our district devices that you won't see this. Gene, check it out on your device.
Yeah, I
If
will.
you go into your OneNote, do you
This is
have?
online, right? Your OneNote online?
This is well, yeah. But if you look at it on your personal device, not your school device, do you have the class notebook tab?
Okay, I'm looking as we.
And I don't on my Surface, on my Microsoft product. And I'm on my school laptop tonight. So we can,
No,
distribute the page. See, that's,
no.
well, I'm glad it's available, because as Dave was showing us a couple weeks ago, that when you do these things in your Office Lens, you want to be able to distribute it, and this is what he was doing. I don't know that it's a big deal, except that if you're since we can download these and have these available on X number of devices, I don't want to necessarily have to take my school device, pack it up, and take it home to be able to do this. I think if I distribute this class notebook, I don't know that I can. If it says add or remove students, I don't have any, which is why this page is blank, I think. Oh,
Hey, Raj,
yes.
can I interrupt you? What I
You
just did,
did. Yes.
I'm going to
Okay.
interrupt. I just went to the Microsoft Store and I typed in OneNote. And it says you already have it, but it said free. I clicked on free, downloaded the new app.
Yes.
I opened it up, and it has Class Notebook.
Okay. That's where this discussion got back
Mm-hmm.
to. These apps are new.
Yeah, I saw an article about that. Yeah, so maybe
So,
they've
and
updated.
I think, and that's what I hadn't been able to do. I'm in that, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always trying to fix things, and then I end up breaking them in the process. You know, so I'm going to try that. I was hesitant to do that because I went to the Microsoft Store, and we only have limited access to what we can do here on our school things. But you did and they're calling it the app. And what it is, it's not the installed version. When you opened it up, Gene, does it say online? OneNote Online?
No, it did not.
See, that's the difference. What you downloaded was the Windows 10 version.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and
I think there's like 3 different things floating around out there now with all of this.
Now it's in my startup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But
and is it like the live tile like that?
It's a tile. Yeah, it's a live tile. Mm-hmm.
Just like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with.
Wow.
So we've hit a couple. I got like you say, you and I. You got.
Yeah.
We're at a slight disadvantage from what we do without having classes to mess with. Here I could, well, here's a notebook, but I don't have any students.
Roger, are you saying we have no class?
Well, I'm speaking for myself.
For all of us, yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I thought, I got to get back into my notebook again. Here we are. But again, that was with Office Lens, which, it's just, they're developing stuff all the time with this. I'm trying to get back to the other thing before I throw it back at you, Gene.
Sure.
Is if it came there were 2 things here. Where I'm on my, it had to be. That's us. Oh, you're talking about that, the news.
Oh, yes.
Thing. And I reread, actually I listened to, it was a TEDx session from a little while ago. My good, well, he's not my good buddy, but he's been as much of an influence as Ken Robinson on where I'm coming from with some of this stuff, is Mr. Alan November, who is a world traveling techno learning community guy, and he goes back like some of those websites that we looked at last time, the fake websites, and he's a strong proponent of teaching students. Students have to know, we all have to know how to use Google search. And he does a little thing in a workshop, whether it's with kids or teachers, that raise your hands if everybody knows how to use Google. And of course, the entire audience raise their hands. And he goes to say, you know what? You don't. And he goes into, kind of like a little, almost like a trick thing. I think we might have mentioned it previously about using these country codes in the search item in Google. If you want to look at, and I was going to try it with what you were doing, on that news site is because that was my question about what is the news source for what you're looking at. In China, aren't we a little skeptical of any world news being reported? Much, I mean, okay, go to North Korea and see what happens. It's probably not even there. What, are we getting that stuff? But if you want to, from he uses the example of going way back, the movie Argo and the hostage crisis, the American hostage crisis, when they took all the embassy's employees were hiding out and were rescued and so on and so forth. He said, well, what was the, we would do a search, a Google search on the American hostage crisis in Iran. If you go to Iran, what would you type in? And it has an entirely different view of that. And his point is really students need to know that there are points of view and how to discern those points of view. And a very vital tool are all these search operatives. We're going to come back. We've talked about them. Like if you want to, all the websites, you want to go in, and I think I did it in one of these. You type the word site, SITE, colon, and then the country code. And then you're actually on that country's internet feed, if there's, if that's the right way to say it, for the information that you're looking at. So everything. How many times have inadvertently, I don't know how, I end up on Amazon Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The .ca at the end. I don't know how I got there. Has it anything to do with our proximity to Canada or not? But here, this is just I did a quick Google search on this, and Alan November, and I'll put this together on a handout either this week or next week for all of this stuff that he's coming from, and I'll share the source of that presentation of his as well. But he makes a really strong point that where in our curriculum do we teach students how to do this? When are they starting to do? There are was it DuckDuckGo or something like that, or a number of other search engines. The one that we all go to readily is Google.
Mm-hmm.
And there are operatives and all kinds of things to learn about doing that stuff. I don't know, take any more of your time, Gene, because you did give it back to me.
No, that's fine.
I wanted to go to called Google Earth, the Google Earth Navigator.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see if I can.
I think it's the second one there.
Right here. Yes. Yeah. It was the first thing I did. In Google Earth Navigator, I got to go back here. Go to Google Earth. Here we are. My mouse is taking on a life of its own here. Let's try it again. There was a whole, I don't know what happened to it. Let's see if I refresh this. I just want Google. There we go. Come on. There's that little symbol on the left in Google Earth. Come on, waiting for it. Over here, this is the Navigator. That's a new tool, and it takes you to a whole series of options of exploring lost civilizations. Or there's dozens of them, and I haven't done a thing except click that, and it takes you. We used to have like Google Lit trips that take a novel like the Odyssey. They would actually go to current geographical locations that roughly would represent where Odysseus went on his 10-year trip home and so on. But this is real. There are a number of other already I'm just zooming out here. Prescribed, already done Google navigation, and their theme. Let's see if we can go back to that. The one that popped up, there's a Jane Goodall, and there was one down here that was fascinated with that I went over to this one, The Journey of Us. And they're all themed. And so if you click on this, it takes you, then the earth should start to spin a little bit, start exploring, and it's all themed. So I mean, we have so many resources with it. I remember, I don't know if you recall, when Google Earth first came out, it just
yeah,
it blow your mind. Like you can zoom in, we can just zoom in on a part of right down to your street address, pretty much. But this is all themed. If we're going now that we're coming up, on, well, look at all the options here. Just to turn kids loose on some of this stuff. When we're coming up to the spring, and oftentimes it's project month across the grade levels. Well, they're always, struggling to find a topic, to find an area of interest. Well, they give students several options here to find something. A journey of film and TV and technology and so on. But anyway, this was all discovery this week, and I'll save some of the other things. I just want to take another look at them anyway. I mentioned we were going to take a real close look at Flipgrid, and we are going to do that in coming weeks, because I think this is a very powerful tool, easy to use, and because it also integrates the immersive reader as well. So anyway, Gene, I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. Don't worry about it. That's great. Hey,
rambling on here.
Whatever we can do here. I learned.
I want to turn it back.
Okay, I'm not sure where I am or who I am right at the moment. I don't even know what website. I think that's the one I want. Hey, we were.
Here, I'll go.
Yeah. Okay. Did you do it? Okay. Show my screen.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I know. I'm sitting here in my sandbox. We've been talking a little bit about the reading, the immersive reader. You showed the Princess and the Pea and so forth. And, I realize that, in each grade there are certain reading programs in the curricula, so forth and so on. But I ran into some really good materials that you might want to take a look at for reading, no matter what level, K through 12. And, you might work them in some way into your program. And first of all, the main one, is called ReadWorks, okay? And it has any number of great things about it, okay? I thought I was logged in here. Let me see if I can log in. Okay. And ReadWorks, let me just go back here. There is, in ReadWorks, it really has things that students can do by themselves, or you can do them with a class. For example, if you want to find content, here's the search, a search. Now, this month, coming up March, is Women's History Month, for example. And they have a topic here. So let's just see what we have here. And what they do is they will give you some topics that you can use. And let me just show you what they look like. They have, first of all, grade level. Here's a 7th grade Sacagawea. And it'll pop this up that way, okay? Notice what's nice about it is it has the reading. Up on top, it will read it aloud, okay? You can print it out if you want. If you want to put it on the whiteboard, there's a whiteboard version, okay? We'll just go, I think do I just click on this? I think in that there is an article. I mean, the students could read it themselves. Look at over on the right before we get farther along. it has what it is. It's got a Lexile score, the types. It has vocabulary. I'll show you the vocabulary in a minute. It's got step reads. It also has Common Core Standards links. So the it is all almost anything you could want. Now, as the student reads, you could also, and this is the first level, take a look at the vocabulary, and it has some areas here. And notice that after each one of them is the little, I'll read it to you if you like, symbol, again, for territory. Okay, here's the other word, uncharted. Here's the third word, wilderness. Okay, and as they get done reading, there's even a question set for them. And it is very, the student can do it. Again, maybe write it down. Oh boy, yeah, there's the answer too. Okay, okay. But that is ReadWorks. Just, I mean, you got to go in yourself and look at it because there's so much, so very, very, very much there. But what they have just done for the lower grades, I think, is they've come out with what they call ebooks. And you can view, let's take a look at the ebook gallery. And they are just starting, so they don't have a huge number of books that they said that they're going to be adding them as they go along. All ebooks have human voice audio. Makes a lot of difference when, not the voice, the computer voice. And these books have human voice audio. But if we go down, scroll down a little bit, notice there's quite a few here. But now, not only this, some of these books have text highlighting and human voice audio. Let's take a look. Now again, here says K-3, Old Man of the Mountain. Click on it, and we will get a little booklet. Okay? You can go back to just the passage itself. Okay? And that's just the article itself, the way we were showing to you before. And that looks like it. But we want the ebook version. Okay? And as you go to another page, notice up here are two little arrows. One says, please read to me. I like the way they put it there. And another one says, please read to me and highlight the words. Now you won't. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you probably didn't hear that. I was hearing it. And it was a very human voice. This was a feminine voice reading this story. And really, again, students could do this themselves. Turn the page. Here's the second page. Pretty easy. And again, if you want the page read.
This old man was not a human being, however.
Okay. Great. Again, once they get done, the step reads are those same things again. Here's the vocabulary, formation, profile, and where. Same as we showed you before. We have question sets. And again, those are, again, allowed to be read. You can, let's see. Okay, you can show, hide all answers. I'm not sure if you can hide them from the students, okay? But again, it's a thing that you could do with the students, or, it might be something that, if you have some students or if you have a group that you might want to work with them, that it's really a great little site that you might want to try. There's another site here that's even more involved, and it is, again, very much the same in a certain way, because it has all kinds of materials for all kinds of lessons. You can go in and create classes and everything and so forth in here, but just to show you, you can go in here and browse by book, by genre, by grade level, literary device, my goodness, text set, theme, even coming out with some Spanish ones there. They're just starting. But let's take a look, for example, at grade level. I don't know. What grade level should we pick? Well, let's pick a little bit higher grade level 10, okay? And it will show you a number of materials. And notice this is just the first of many pages of stories. Some of them are short stories, some of are, notice it'll say short story, informational text, whatever, okay? And some of them will tell you the Lexile score, okay, the first one, okay? Let's just pick, I don't know, I2, okay? All right, and notice here, this is a poem, and maybe this isn't what the good thing that I chose, but notice that as you read the poem, they have the questions here that allow you, the answers in this area, okay? Let me go back and select another text, okay, if I can. Maybe I went back too far. Okay, let's go to grade level. Wow, my talk about your mouse, Raj. Mine is doing the same thing. Okay, let's see. That's a poem. I want an informational text. Okay. All right, but no. Here's a typical article that the student could read. Yes, up here, press this button to have the text read aloud. Select a word from the text, then click this to look up a word in your in the dictionary. Stop read aloud, that's the stop. Okay, you can even translate it from one language to another. You can highlight it. You can remove the highlights, of course. And they have some toolbar settings that you can play with there too. But you can do so much. If you want, you can make the text bigger. Okay. Now, what's nice about this also is as you're going through this, if notice they have one here. That's kind of like a footnote, but you can click on it right there and it gives you the meaning of the word rejoice. If you would notice down at the bottom, they also have the footnotes down here as well. Okay, so those numbers. Okay, and most of these are, in this case, are vocabulary. In a couple of other readings I was looking at, they were, maybe some comments on history or Queen of England, some information about something like that. But again, questions, okay, that are in the area. They show the area for the question. What's nice is we have a guiding, then we have an assessment. This is some comments, which part best describes, okay, they have some like multiple choice questions. And notice that it is aligned to standards, okay? And if you highlight it, it shows you what the standard is. And if you want, it even has a discussion question. Wow. This is Common Lit, and you can create a free account for yourself, and it is phenomenal. So if you're looking for some other alternative reading materials, things like that, it's amazing. You can go in here and set up classes and everything, but boy, you can just do digital library, okay? All right, and I mean, if you want, I believe there's even a way, I'm trying to remember if you can download. Yes, download it as a PDF. You can download a PDF of the text itself. So these are all, I guess, in the public domain, so you can use them in your class, so forth. And again, grade level, Lexile score, what more could you want? So some other, reading sites that will give you some things that you might want to take a look at. As Roger mentioned, what we do is each week, we as you probably know by now, we put up a video, the video that we've done of the webinar. But what I will do is put up a document, a Word document with these sites in case you want to go back to them. You can download that document, and it'll have the links on them. Okay? There was one other thing that I wanted to do, and I forgot to go there. So this is the page that you'll be seeing. I just wanted to remind you that this month is, oh boy, yeah, I'm not going to do that. This is Women's History Month, and if you can work some articles and so forth, and notice this is .gov, so this is from the Library of Congress, I believe is where it really started. Yes, hosted by the Library of Congress, but there are other groups involved. But there are all kinds of exhibits, articles, and if you go for teachers, you'll be able to find all kinds of materials here that you might be able to include in some of your classes this month. And just real quickly, there was one that I have 4 of them there, and oh boy, I'm doing this wrong. This is the one I wanted to show. Yeah, the NEA has resources broken down by grade level. Okay, so if you were looking for K6 to 8, for example, it does have a number of resources here, lesson plans and so forth, PDFs, so forth and so on, that you can download. Lots of good things for Women's History Month. Maybe set up a little page or something with some of these on them. And there was one interesting one that I ran into, and we've talked about TED Ed, okay? And we've tried to show you a little bit about how easy it is to create your own TED Eds. And if you've not been there, do yourself a favor and go to TED Ed, because there are classes set up. And this teacher set up a video from YouTube dealing with the contributions of female explorers. I haven't watched all of it yet, but it was kind of interesting to watch. And you might even want to have the kids do the multiple choices and the learning more and so forth. And they're just a really good little article. There are some other ones down here that, well, these are probably from the last month when we had Black History Month, and there's still some really good materials here as well. Art teachers, one for you. And Raj, do you have some other things you'd like to show for 7 minutes? Raj, are you there? Have you muted yourself, Raj?
I remain mute.
Do you have something for 5 minutes, or shall we?
Well, I was just looking for. We are obviously in March.
Yes.
And the some great pictures.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, March Madness is upon us, or will be shortly.
Oh, okay. There was something else.
And I came across some really, 2 really clever things this week, having to do with March Madness, but having to do with using the bracketing.
Oh, yes.
That we're all going to see a lot of over the next couple of weeks, certainly. And bracketing, let's say, students' favorite stories. And having a winner at the end. And then another one did it with vocabulary words from us, and it did it. And there's one I'm saving for the end of the month, going into April. So maybe we'll go out. Well, we'll roar a little bit at the end of the month with it. But it's a really, I think, kind of a neat idea, because April is Poetry Month, and usually within the school year, some part of April is chewed up with spring break. No complaints there, except this year. This year it's rather late, so I want to save that and really devote a lot of stuff. It's really clever things coming up. I'm trying to look at my open. So I want to come back to Flipgrid and share some things
Okay.
with that in the
Well,
coming
yeah, I
weeks.
didn't want to cut you
And,
short, because we only have 5 minutes, but if you had something real quick. And again, hey, and I sent you something today. There's another thing coming up this month, isn't there? A national, something to do with poetry, I believe. Isn't this?
Well, April's Poetry Month.
That's what I sent you an email. So because I know that you like to talk about that. So maybe we can deal a little bit with that next week too.
Yes, I grabbed a whole lot of stuff. One of those we talked about, found poetry, and I found a whole lot of resources on blackout poetry. It's called, which is kind of like found poetry. But anyway, I'll save all that for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
When we get there, and I'll have to remind myself that there's a 2-week break coming up.
Well,
April.
Okay. Hey, well, anyhow, maybe you just take a minute to remind people that, each week we are adding to this site on the TRC center called our PLN site, and added a number of articles today, and some of them you might be interested in. These are not necessarily tech articles. In fact, most of these aren't the ones I added today, and you might be interested in a few of them. There's some really good ones that I'm not bragging about myself, of course, but that people have written that I found and put in there. Let me just get this. 27 ways. This was a good article. I'm not going to click on them. I'm going to ask you to go and click on them. This one I really like. Do's and don'ts for teaching vocabulary. There's a chart there. There's a poster there. And I wish I would have seen this one some years ago myself, because there was a few of the don'ts that I did. Okay. Lifelong learners we're trying to create. This was a good article here. Okay. More control of their own education, about letting them make choices. This was a good, this also had a nice little poster or something that you could almost print out for yourself, and it could be a really good guide to some of the things that you could be doing in your class. This is an interesting article about how art education helped boost students' writing. So for any art teachers out there, they might want to be able to take a look at that. And there's a lot of other things here. Please take a look. Go here when you have a chance. These articles are very short for the most part. You can read them in 3, 4, 5 minutes. They're not heavy, and they have some pretty good ideas. And with that, Raj, we have almost reached the magic hour. Again, you will be receiving a thank you within an hour. You don't have to stay up and wait for it. But in the next few days, we'd like you to open that thank you and click on the survey link and just finish that survey up real quickly for us. It helps us out, and we will make sure that the report is sent into the TRC so you can get your credit. And with that, Raj, do you have any final?
No, I said we'll see you all an hour earlier next week.
Yes.
But only in one sense of the word.
Yeah.
But not really.
Yeah. We're still it's really weird down here in Florida. They're still talking about going on daylight saving time permanently.
Yeah, Florida needs more sunshine. You're right.
Yeah. But I'm trying I'm trying to figure out how this is going to mesh with the other states that don't.
Yes,
they don't worry about things like that down here. It's really, it's a whole different ballgame. Hey, and with that, thank you very, very much, everybody. We hope you have a great week. We hope to see you next week. Good night.
Yeah, have a great week, everybody. Good night, all.